Good Friday evening. Thanks for joining us on Unscripted as we round out the week. Bitter cold temperatures are the main focus as we move into the weekend. Some areas in northern Michigan even seeing temperatures drop below zero. For more on what we can expect, we're going to turn things over to meteorologist Ethan Foreman. Ethan, we were just talking kids, pets, make sure you keep them inside over the next few days.
Yeah, that is a very important thing we must focus on this weekend is that bitter cold. That snow is going to be not so great either, but that cold is going to affect everybody. So those pets and children going to want to stay inside as much as possible. If you're shoveling in these conditions, make sure you're taking several breaks as we could see frostbite in these conditions in as little as 15 to 30 minutes. So certainly don't want to be out in that as much as you don't have to be, because the roads are also not going to be great. We're going to be seeing lots of blowing and drifting, as we'll see some rates of up to 1 to 2 inches per hour in some instances. So not the best weekend to be out and about. So if you must be outside, take breaks, and I'll give you an update on how much snow we could see and when we could see rain and 40 degrees return in your full forecast.
All right, Ethan, thanks. Continuing coverage tonight in a rapid turn of events for the University of Michigan's former head football coach, Sharon Moore, appearing in court today virtually from jail. Moore was charged this afternoon for 3 crimes, which prosecutors say played out just after his firing. Police say this all went down on Wednesday at a woman's apartment south of Ann Arbor. The most serious charge Moore is facing, a felony for third-degree home invasion. Tyler Brummett was inside that courtroom today where all of this played out, and he brings us the latest.
State your name, please.
Sharon Moore.
Former University of Michigan head football coach Sharon Moore seated in a white jumpsuit in jail, at times his hands trembling as the prosecutor goes through the 3 criminal charges against him.
The totality of the behavior is highly threatening and highly intimidating.
Prosecutor Katie Rozmierski also laying out some of what she says led to Moore's arrest Wednesday. She claims Moore was in a relationship with a woman who broke up with him Monday. Rozmierski says Moore had been calling and texting the woman since then. And then after Michigan fired him Wednesday afternoon, the prosecutor says he went straight over to the victim's home. She says Moore grabbed butter knives and kitchen scissors and said these chilling words.
I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hand. You ruined my life. And a series of very, very threatening, intimidating, terrifying, quite frankly, statements and behaviors there in that apartment.
The judge issuing a $25,000 bond and mandating continued mental health treatment. Moore is also required to wear a GPS tether and cannot leave the state of Michigan or contact the victim.
That means no calling, no writing, no video chatting, no texting, no emailing, or any other form of contact the human mind can possibly fathom.
Moore's attorney leaving court saying he still has plenty of work to do.
And I said in court, I've not seen the police report. I've not seen any other discovery. It would be irresponsible to comment. So I won't.
That was Tyler Brummett reporting. The felony home invasion charge Moore faces is punishable by up to 5 years. He's scheduled to be back in court January 22nd. 800 miles is a pretty long way, especially if that's the distance that separates you from your 15-year-old child. A northern Michigan mother had to experience that because in some people's eyes, our state is not doing enough to make sure that there's enough care or consequences that can be found closer to home.
This is probably the most important thing I think we do as a state with our children and making sure we have good care here.
Important, but questions are being raised about how well the state of Michigan, and in particular MDHHS, actually does it.
Michigan's bed capacity for residential treatment programs is decreasing with no sign of reprieve. This drop in capacity is not because of the children don't require care, but because an overall reduction in programs.
The programs in question have to do with the shortage of child placement options in Michigan's child care institutions.
Whether it's behavioral health
or juvenile justice, either one.
Testimony at committee hearings in Lansing revealed that as of September 2024, 122 Michigan youth were referred by MDHHS for out-of-state care, often in places that MDHHS has never seen or vetted. That's data on paper. But for a Kingsley mom, that placement shortage became very real.
Some people say Michigan kids are not being sent out of the state. Don't tell me that isn't happening. My son and I lived it.
And what they experienced led Cheryl to testify in Lansing, never imagining that due to a lack of options nearby, her son would be 800 miles away.
Remember, Aiden wasn't placed in Missouri because it was a good program or a reputable program or the best place for him. Aiden was placed there because there was an open bed. The court signed the paperwork and met the deadline. Hey, at least we found a bed.
Because whether it's for juvenile justice, mental health, or personal safety reasons, finding one in Michigan is getting harder and harder.
We went in 2020 to 1,200 beds in the state of Michigan to this year, 398. It is a major loss in beds, and mainly because providers are deciding to either pull back or actually discontinue service altogether.
800 fewer beds in a matter of a few years.
This is a serious issue that's coming to a head.
So why the drop in beds? Well, providers are testifying that Michigan has restrictive policies and unclear regulations, and that makes doing business here unappealing.
It was basically, here's what we're giving you as a department, take it or leave it. And the providers are saying, we can't do that.
Representative Roth believes the solution starts with a conversation. Get everyone into a room, providers, MDHHS, and lawmakers, with the mission of crafting and creating a more conducive environment so that Michigan kids aren't having to be sent out of state.
We need to force that conversation at least. And they need to understand we're not there to beat them up. We're there to work with them to find the answer and provide solutions to this problem.
That was Up North Live's Mark Shillette reporting. Now, this is an issue that's been on the radar for a while now in northern Michigan, with local law enforcement stressing the need for someplace nearby where youth offenders can be safely housed away from adults, and local parents and medical providers saying the same about youth patients. We'll, of course, continue to follow these efforts for you. Closer to home right now, the Fishtown Preservation Society is lighting up the rooftops of Leland's historic Fishtown. The event just got underway this evening with the rooftop lights being turned on for the first time at 5:30. The light display will continue nightly through January 5th from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And the lights will also be on every morning from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. for those people who enjoy an early morning winter stroll. Fishtown in Lights is to celebrate the completion of the projects made possible by the campaign for Fishtown, and it took 7 years of work and repairs to save Fishtown from the impact of high water. Joining us now from the Fishtown Preservation Society is the Executive Director, Amanda Holmes. Amanda, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So everything basically was just turned on in the last hour or so.
Yes. It's a little quiet where I am right now, but at 5 o'clock, a lot of people started gathering together. At 5:15, we had a presentation with a couple hundred people, and at 5:30, the lights went on. But everything around how we were coming together and who turned on the lights and the stories of those people, that was what this evening was about, to make it a really magical moment for people who were instrumental in the campaign for Fishtown and a lot of the things around the successes of where Fishtown is today, and the organization Fishtown Preservation Society that oversees its care.
And speaking of that, this is, like you said, truly a special celebration. This is not just about, decorating for the holiday season. There's a reason behind why these lights are on display.
Yes, and it's an interesting thing this time of year. I think, lights just cheer us up so much. But we realized it was such an exceptional effort. The campaign for Fishtown was a $5.25 million project that, if people remember, just 7 years ago, it started when the high water started, and then it continued into 2020. That had devastating impact on Fishtown. And right now I'm sitting in the middle of Fishtown. I'm holding up my hand in the cold snow to be able to do all of this. And every single building here was impacted, and 5 of them were lifted out of Fishtown with cranes. Where I'm sitting right now would flood regularly. We had to replace all of the docks. We had to replace the retaining walls. It was just a lot of things that happened all at once. And it's been 7 years of work to complete these rehabilitation, restoration, and rescue projects. And so tonight was about wrapping that up. And there's something about doing something this time of year for people who live here year round as well, and just honoring the year roundness of this place. Not many people come tromping through in the wintertime, yet people will do it every day. So to have a couple hundred people come when the snows were blowing, and literally the snows just started right as we were going curling off of the rooftops, and everyone was here and they said, this is the perfect weather for something like this. It was just magical to have the snow come in and everyone together, and to have a chance to share a few stories about why we are where we are today.
And what is the timeline, too, for the display of lights? I know that if people can't make it out in the evening, you're also encouraging people to come by during the morning as well.
Yes, we actually did Fishtown and Lights one back in 2019 for just a very brief time. And that was when we had paid off our mortgage and had big balloon payments and had launched the public component of the campaign for Fishtown. And so this time we decided to add the morning component because there's so many people who are early risers and they can kind of get up, or someone's like heading to work, they can kind of take a drive by and just enjoy seeing them. Even as I'm sitting in Fishtown right now, I can see cars just kind of driving by and pausing. It's something that it's on long enough that every day as I'm coming to and from work will drive by. It just makes you smile. It's really very special. It's very simple as well, though. You just have the rooftops lit. And you come and you walk through and it's quiet and it's wonderful. You hear the wind, you hear the river. It's just a moment to pause, to really pause and appreciate whatever you have going on in your life that means something to you. I hope that's Fishtown, but it's a spot to bring a few friends, just to have a lovely quiet spot to go at this time of year. And we just wanted something simple and to kind of acknowledge the generosity of the community that has made this happen.
And speaking of that generosity too, Amanda, I know you mentioned that this is obviously a celebration for all of the work that's gone on over the past 7 years. There are specific people and families who have been involved So this is truly a personal celebration to give thanks to everyone in Fishtown who's helped.
Well, what we did is we brought together, I had 4 different groups of people that I wanted to honor. And I wanted to start with honoring the fishermen, and then in particular recognize the Carlson family, who've been in Fishtown since over 120 years. And so had the Carlson family, who still actually, they don't own the place any longer, but they still have Carlson's fishery. And at each of the 4 different groups, I made certain that there were some children as well of those families. And so there's the fishing and the Carlsons, then I had the larger community, and that's represent thousands of people who were the donors who have helped every step of the way since 2007 when we made the first purchase. And then I wanted to honor those who were key in Fishtown preservation coming together and the families that were involved with that. And we honored Craig Miller. And I wanted to honor as well the incredible businesses that are here down in Fishtown. I think people forget that how important this place is to the economy of the area. And there are businesses that have been here for over 50 years and the same families. And so recognize each of those groups and then had the children of each of those groups press the button that turned on the lights. But what was really wonderful, because I introduced them all and we had a little rehearsal beforehand, and before we met, none of the kids wanted to say anything. But I'm like, you don't want to say you love Fishtown?
Yeah.
And all of them did it. It was amazing. It just, I mean, it's cold metaphor, melted our hearts. It was just so sweet. And then I gave them each a key that said Fishtown Forever on it and told them that they're the ones who will be taking care of Fishtown in the future. So just to realize it's generation after generation that has made this possible. It was wonderful to be here. So.
Incredible. Amanda, thank you. And the light display will be going on through January. We have all of the information posted, including the times when you can check out all of those displays. Amanda Holmes there talking with us about that Fishtown light display that'll be going on through January. All of the details on UpNorthLive.com. And of course, stay with us. Ethan will take a look at your weather forecast so you can check out those lights this weekend if you choose to do so. We'll take a look at that weather coming up.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Welcome back to Up North Live's Unscripted. It's a good weekend coming up to layer up if you do plan on being outside. And if not, also a good weekend to just stay inside and stay warm. Ethan Foreman has a look at what we can expect. Ethan, it's a weekend where you definitely want to be safe if you go outdoors.
Yeah, if you are going to Fishtown or looking at holiday lights or anything like that, you're really going to want to bundle up. I would recommend staying in the car if you're going to look at holiday lights this weekend, as we're seeing those winds already picking up here in Traverse City outside the studio in southern Leelanau County at 27 degrees with a southwest wind at 10 miles per hour. And that snow coming down, as you can see on the light poles, visibility down to 2 miles and feels like 17 degrees. Winter weather advisories are in place for much of northwestern lower Michigan, as well as Luce County in the UP. Those are in effect till 7 p.m. on Saturday, so about 24 more hours of that. And then a winter storm warning in effect for Chippewa County in the UP, where higher amounts are expected there. We'll talk about that in a moment. Satellite and radar shows we continue to see those snow showers moving in, and that's system snow for now. That's going to transition more to lake effect later into the overnight hours into our Saturday morning, and so we'll have some very gusty winds as a result, and that's going to lead to some blowing and drifting, very slick roadways into early Saturday morning, and so you'll want to take extra caution if you must be out on Saturday at any point driving. And also, if you're going to be shoveling, make sure to take breaks, as it's going to be cold out there. Those lake effect bands really won't be letting up either most of the day on Saturday. Still snowing pretty good at 6:45 in the evening. I wouldn't be surprised to see those winter weather advisories extended even further into Sunday morning, but that lake effect will slowly wind down as we head toward sunrise Sunday morning. And by the afternoon and evening hours of Sunday, we'll see that lake effect tapering off some, but a few snow showers still possible. Snowfall amounts overnight tonight into tomorrow. Could be seeing some about an inch or two from that system snow, unless you're right near Lake Michigan, perhaps much lower there. And then we'll see the lake effect kicking in later on tonight into tomorrow morning. That's when areas like Antrim, Otsego counties could be seeing as much as 6 to 12 inches when all said and done. Those wind chills will also be bitter cold as we head into Saturday morning. By midnight, many of us near zero. And as we wake up on Saturday by 7:30, many of us seeing wind chills between 5 and 15 degrees below zero. And look at that. We don't warm up on Saturday. In fact, we could get colder later in the day, which means you'll want to stay inside as much as possible Saturday into Sunday. By 7 a.m. Sunday morning, most of us seeing wind chills around zero, maybe slightly below in areas like Mount Pleasant, Big Rapids, Cadillac, Gaylord, and up towards Sault Ste. Marie. And then we'll see those wind chills finally warming up back into the teens by Sunday evening. And early snow lake effect tonight, as we see those lows in the single digits to around 15 degrees or so right along Lake Huron and Lake Michigan, but a cold night nonetheless. And so bundle up if you must be out tonight. And that lake effect continues into our Saturday, a cold day with highs only in the 10s and teens. And so definitely a very chilly day out there, and watch out again for that blowing and drifting. You don't want to travel if you don't have to on Saturday. And then we'll see more system snow moving into Monday. We warm up as we head through Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Could be seeing highs back in the 30s and 40s, and perhaps even rain back in the forecast.
I cannot believe we're talking about rain after talking about how cold it's going to be.
Yes.
Lots of changes. All right. Thanks, Ethan. Coming up, sports director Harrison Beebe is out covering high school basketball. We'll check in with him for a preview coming up after this. Welcome back to Unscripted. Sports director Harrison Beebe is out covering high school basketball, and he joins us live now from one of those games. Hey, Harrison.
Yeah, Melissa. Hey, I think the beauty of a show like Unscripted is we can kind of peel back some of the fourth wall, the broadcasting industry, and break down, how this all takes place. So I'm on my own tonight. I'm going to attempt to cover 4 games in an hour and a half. My benefit is that they're all in the Traverse City area here.
Okay.
So I should have a pending game starting on time and getting me plenty of highlights while I'm at each game. I should be able to get all 4. How you'll find out for sure is if you tune in tonight on Up North Live News 11 for hometown highlights. We've got 4 games we're shooting to get to. I'm at Traverse City, St. Francis right now. As soon as I wrap up with you, I'm going to catch the Glads playing Cadillac and boys basketball. And I head down the road. Traverse City Central girls are at home going up against Grand Haven. Presumably around halftime, I'll be able to leave that one, maybe get up to Traverse City Christian in time for a great matchup in boys between TC Christian and Lakeland on St. Mary. Both those teams 4-0 so far this season. So excited to see who gets the better of the other in that one. And then pending time, I should hopefully be able to get back over to center ice and catch the end of the Bay Raps Granville hockey game, which is right down the road from Traverse City Christian. So this was heavily scouted by me on my part to try and see if I could do this 4 games in an hour and a half challenge. So we'll really put my my highlights to the test tonight and my pedal to the metal literally to see if we can catch all 4.
You do it all, Harrison. I don't know how you do it, but you make it happen.
We do. And you know what I'm going to do after I successfully get all 4 games tonight? I'm going to enjoy a relaxing weekend, and that includes some intriguing events going on, including the big one Sunday in LA, 425 Lions, Rams. This one is huge for all sorts of reasons. 2 of the best teams in the NFC. Lions really need this win, although it's not going to be all hope is lost if they don't get a win over Matthew Stafford and company. But a win against the Rams will go a long way towards showing that they're going to be back into the postseason discussion sooner than later here.
All right. Sounds like a great way to spend the weekend, Harrison. Thank you. And again, we're going to make sure that you tune in for Hometown Highlights. We'll have all of those details with Harrison coming up tonight at 11. But of course, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Thanks for tuning in to Up North Live's Unscripted this Friday evening. You can join us later for more news highlights and, of course, hometown highlights with Harrison Beebe. That'll be coming up tonight at 11. Until then, stay safe out there, stay warm. Have a great evening.